Just when you think it doesn't get any worse, it gets worse. It gets lower than low. Sound asleep. Out cold. On vacation. Comes back, goes on another vacation. We're funding vacation for criminals. Ice cream. Banana split on the floor. Chocolate syrup on the floor. Sprinkles on the floor. Elderly abuse. People falling down. You know, people don't know where they're at. People cracking their hip. People that need to be held accountable. People need to be walked out with their hands behind their back. Worst administration, worst president, we're ever seen. They need to go back and there's gonna need to be a full-blown investigation. Y'all said on the bombshell report came out that y'all knew on day one when he got in there that he was declining, that he was dying in the White House. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. It's been nothing but a bunch of lies. Criminals pardoning criminals. It's a disgrace. People don't know where the hell they at. It is a disgrace. We got to drain the swamp. We need competent people in there. We need patriots. But when you think it don't get worse, it gets worse. So make sure y'all hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. We keep it real. And if you don't like to be real, I'm sorry. This is not the channel for you. But it's a disgrace what has happened. And I think all them patriots need to be sent a refund back. Start sending out stimulus checks or something. Send everybody back their money. Burn down the tax building. Shut the whole thing down. Shut the whole government down. Just shut it down. We got to do something. We love our country though. It's not funny. Stop laughing. Let's get into this. It gets worse. For Joseph Brandon. Unbelievable. They say Dr. Jill walked in. They said they had a doctor at the White House. And that the Bidenomics was working. That they're doing such an amazing job. That he is as sharp as a tack.
Joining us now, former Department of Homeland Security official and former Secret Service agent Chuck Marino. Chuck, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Happy New Year. Thanks for spending your Friday with us. So he's appearing to downplay ISIS terror threats. Show the list of the numerous national security problems that erupted under Biden. Former top FBI officials say it's foreign terrorism, it's ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and China. What's your reaction to Biden here?
Well, he has failed at keeping our country and its citizens safe, and that's been obvious.
And I believe it's worse than failed. It's worse than failed. I mean, it's way worse than failed.
Facts and numbers speak for themselves. He did not keep the main thing, and that was the threat of terrorism from terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda and ISIS, or from Americans that are radicalized by those groups. Look, it's so important that the Trump administration starts day one effectively and efficiently, because we need competent people in the White House to implement competent policies that reinforce our national security, that they don't undercut it like we've seen the last 4 years. He has made this country a lot more dangerous place and has set us back decades with respect to our homeland security.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's show what incoming Senate Majority Leader John Thune is saying. Also, incoming Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso and Senator Marsha Blackburn. Also, Congressman Mike Collins. All of them say the Senate must now confirm Trump's cabinet nominees, notably his national security team, Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi. You got also, Tulsi Gabbard. They say lives are depending on it. Do you think Senate Republicans are going to all do that? I mean, so are they going to move quickly?
Yeah, they have to. Look, the American people expect it. They expect to see the border secured.
I see the Trump effect with Speaker Mike Johnson. Yeah. He got on that phone. Chop, 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 chop. Y'all get on it. Yeah. Because they was finna walk Mike out of there on his lunch break. Put your Diet Coke down, sir. Sir, put your Diet Coke down. Wait, is that a Diet Dr. Pepper? You're drinking Diet Dr. Pepper today, sir? Put it down. We got to walk you out. Yeah, they were for to walk them out. You know? And anybody better than that Hakeem that Jeffries dollar store fella, that want to be anyways, I can't say that on camera, but yeah, anybody's better than that Jeffries fella.
They expect to see immigration laws enforced. They expect to see sanctuary cities be held accountable to actually enforce the law. And if they don't, to have their funding taken away, their federal funding taken away. So look, they expect to see a lot of action in the first few days of this administration via executive orders to get this country's national security back on track.
Yeah, they got to clean it out.
And
they
that
really
was
got to clean it out.
demonstrated in New Orleans.
You know, we got to let's listen to Democrats Sheldon.
Oh yeah, what the hell with them Democrats? They probably want to play a clip on MSNBC or CNN or one of the two. Look, what I tell y'all, look, unbelievable. A disgrace, man. But we don't want no rhinos. We don't want no look, you're not with the American First, the Trump agenda, we'll walk you out. We don't trust you. It's time to drain the swamp. Common sense is back. People are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And it's a disgrace what is taking place. It really is. Let's get into this next one.
Andrew, we want to bring in Mark Thiessen. He's a former speechwriter for President George W. Bush. He's also a Fox News contributor. Mark, it is fantastic to see you as always. President Biden has repeatedly said he believes white supremacy is a bigger threat to Americans than ISIS. Take a listen.
Stand up against the poison of white supremacy, as I did my inaugural address, to single out as the most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy.
Now, yesterday, our colleague Lucas Tomlinson asked President Biden directly to his face, does he still stand by the...
When it gets low, it gets lower. Ice cream on the floor. Yeah. And I mean, that fella has dropped everything on the floor. He dropped his hamburger on the floor. I mean, man. He can't put his shoes on.
those comments, and he wouldn't answer the question. Your thoughts?
Well, the problem isn't white supremacy, it's Islamic radicalism. It has been since 9/11. And it hasn't, the Islamic radicals, we may have gotten tired of fighting the war on terror. The terrorists haven't gotten tired of fighting us. We've got a growing Islamic radical threat over the last 4 years. We've got homegrown terrorists. We've got terrorists infiltrating across our southern border, as you have so ably reported on. And we've got terrorists establishing sanctuaries, new sanctuaries all over the world. Just take Syria, for example. The terrorist goal was to take control of a nation state and get control of weapons of mass destruction. Well, in Syria, they've done both. You've got a ISIS-backed terrorist named Jalani, who was radicalized by the 9/11 attacks to go to Iraq and fight the Americans. He had a $10 million bounty on his head until a few weeks ago. Now he's the head of Syria, and he's taken over a country that used chemical weapons against its own people. That is a dangerous and toxic combination. Or take Afghanistan, where Biden withdrew. Remember after the Abbey Gate bombing when he said, and this is a quote, he said, "We will not forgive, we will not forget, we will hunt you down and make you pay." Well, it's 3 years later. He's about to leave the presidency. He hasn't made anybody pay. He hasn't hunted anybody down. Nobody's paid a price for the Abbey Gate bombing. Why is that? Because we don't have intelligence on the ground in Afghanistan to find out where the terrorists are. So we can't find the people who are responsible for the Abbey Gate bombing because Biden pulled everybody out. Donald Trump said he would have left troops in there and kept Bagram Air Base. So we would have still had intelligence networks. We would have still had a counterterrorism capability on the ground. So this administration has been an absolute disaster when it comes to counterterrorism.
So, Mark, what's the whole point of trying to downplay the ISIS threat? I mean, like, who's he trying to appeal to by saying white supremacy is more of a risk than radical Islamic terror? Well, that's appealing to the left-wing base of the Democratic Party, but it's not based in reality.
And and again, it comes back to bite you when a terrorist attack happens. You've reported on what's happening on the southern border. The Biden administration, with the Inspector General report in 2022, came out and said that the Afghan refugees that they brought in, they allowed hundreds of people to come in who were not vetted through the DoD database, and they later, after they came into the United States, they found that they had derogatory information on them, including fingerprints on IEDs found in Afghanistan. Hundreds of these people, and they were led into the United States, and we haven't been able to find them. We've got hundreds of people who've come over across the southern border. We got gotaways. How many terrorists have been led into this country because of Biden's open border policies? It's a debacle.
Yeah, Mark, we got to run, but you're spot on. That DHS Inspector General report was jaw-dropping. They flat out just did not adequately vet the thousands of Afghans who came into the country after that disastrous Afghan withdrawal. Mark Thiessen, thank you for your time today. We'll talk again soon.